So I'm showing you quickly the conditions I had this morning. So these are the typical clouds we get in the ITCZ. So you see those kind of puffy clouds, they can turn into thunder shower, then they clear out, it becomes sunny again, and then so it's been like that. Well, no, that's more open skies than I used to have in the last few days. I've had like more cloudy conditions than that. Like this is sort of, I can't remember the thing, but it's I had like really deeply overcast conditions for quite some time. But it gives you an idea. So there's a little bit of wave, but not too much. The ocean is calm, and the sails are steady. As you can see, like there's not much action going on the sails. I'm doing a nice 5.5, 6 knots. I mean, that kind of sort of weather, I'm not interested in putting up the code 0. Because it'd be risky. Like that'd be a lot of wind for the code 0. The boat would be going like 7.58 knots, which is too much. Like I keep that boat at 6 knots and 7 knots, 7 knots 5. Anytime it goes faster than that, like these are how do you call these things? Calamari and squids. So I got squids that jump on my deck sometime. See my solar panels, Starlink's working nice sun. So that was the morning. I've had a bit more cloud during the afternoon, and that's the perspective from the bow. As you can see, the sails are very stable. They're a little bit moving, but not too much. And that's the kind of weather I get crossing the Pacific. See, there's more clouds up front, and you can see there's thunder showers up front. So you got to watch for these things, and that's also why I'm not putting up the jib. Good day, everybody. So today's a big day. I've found a few places where I can stick that iPad and do the filming for me. I think this is better. It's well hidden from the wind out there, and it's kind of a nice perspective. I lost my MacBook Pro yesterday. For some reason, it just doesn't function. I don't know. Like I have Apple Care. They keep changing the logic board. It works 2-3 weeks on the boat, and then it stops working. So I'll bring it back to Apple. I still have Apple Care. Maybe I'll trade it in for another iPad. The iPad seems to be resisting the salt air better. So huge day today. The autopilot's been working since all of yesterday and the morning before that. It's worked all night. I turned south yesterday afternoon, and I was going on one sail just on my main because the wind was too far back. I could not keep the jib inflated. But as forecasted by Predict Wind, so the Predict Wind forecast, you know, if you know how to read that forecast, it is so accurate, It works so well for me. Like you just look at your forecast, and the wind was forecasted to shift a bit more east, a bit less north, and I knew that around this morning I was going to get some decent wind to go on a nice beam reach, which is what's happening right now. So the two sails are fully inflated. I'm doing, I think, around 6 knots. Yeah, I'm doing 6 knots, 6.5, 5.5, 5.76. You know, so the boat is going well. Everything is going well. The autopilot's been working fine. I don't know. I'm praying, fingers crossed. But the big deal today is I'm at 6 north. So I'll just expand a little bit on the ITCZ concept. The ITCZ is basically a zone where the weather is unpredictable, and a lot of time there's not a lot of wind. And the reason for that is the winds from the South Pacific and the winds from the North Pacific are kind of colliding, and they're kind of it's a zero-sum game. Like they're just destroying each other because they're colliding together. So sometimes when you come through here, there's not a lot of wind. The good news is I've been obviously watching that pattern for the past week and a half or 2 weeks, trying to pick the exact spot where I was going to make my move to cross. So yesterday was kind of twitchy. Like the Predict Wind routing model works well. Unfortunately, because I don't have a pole on my Genoa, I'm not able to maintain all the angles that the exact routing was making me follow. So I picked a route that was kind of working for me, just in terms of what I could do with my sail. So I went west until yesterday afternoon, and then I just turned south. And I adjusted my sail, and I went off at night with this. I'm at 6 north right now, and I'm driving pretty much straight south. A little bit of westerly, which is fine because the Marquesas are still west of me, so
I'm gaining ground both south and west. That's fine. But the good news is, if I get to 3 north, so 3 north from 6 north, you have to understand, like, let's say you're at the equator and you want to go to 5 north, that's 300 miles. So if you split that in half, that's 2.5 degrees. 2.5 degrees is 150 miles, which is what this boat does on 24 hours on good average and good wind. I'm going to do maybe a bit less than that today. It's going to be a 140, 145 day. But at 3 north, which is 160, 170 miles from here, the south trade start right now. And if I get there by, let's say, late tomorrow, or I'm not even sure which day we are. I think we're Monday or Tuesday. I think we're Tuesday. So if I get there, oh, what day is it? So yeah, we're Tuesday. I lose track of that. But so we're the 25th. That's another way to think about it. We're the 25th of April now. Tomorrow's the 26th. So by tomorrow night or the 27th, if I get to those trades, then the forecast is those trades will stay constant until Nukuiva. So basically, that would put all the ITCZ consideration behind me. I'd still have to look at it to make sure that I don't do something stupid to fall back in it, in some of the headies or the twist of it. But pretty much I'd be rid of it. So if that happens in the next 2 days, that's a huge deal, and I'll say I'm almost home, because if I get to the other side of that, then even if the autopilot doesn't work again, by that time I'll be 500 miles or 600 miles, and then it's less than 5 or 6 days, and I'll have made it. So that's the big news today. I'm very, very happy about that. I love how those weather models, I mean, some people are saying like those models are not super precise. It's true that close to shore they're not, but when you're out here in the middle of the ocean, they become way more reliable. And the other thing is, you gotta adjust sort of your perspective. You know, sometimes if they say 15 knots, well, don't be surprised if you have 12, you know, and don't be surprised if you see 22. In my opinion, if it's an opinion, but if you're gonna start going across ocean sailing, you should be able to sail your boat in up to 50 knots of wind, and you should be comfortable with that. That shouldn't worry you in the back of your mind. If you're worried about 50 knots, you shouldn't be out here. You should be practicing sailing closer to shore in San Diego Bay and Lake Champlain, where I started, or Puerto Vallarta and Banderas Bay. Practice there, learn your trade there, and make sure that you're comfortable. And then the weather doesn't matter. You just have to pick your season so that you don't get into a real like tropical storm danger, but you'd be okay most of the time at that point. So anyway, so far I'll know more. I might have to take it back tomorrow. I might look at tomorrow's map and go like, oh my God, I'm not in the clear just yet. But right now I feel that I have a fair shot of positioning myself within the next 24 hours close enough to the southern winds that are south of that calm zone, that, you know, because if I'm 60 miles away, let's say I make today 140 miles, but the winds are like still 60 or 70 miles further south, that's not a big deal, because I still have 48 hours of diesel in the tank, so I can just burn the diesel, get to the wind, and then I'm in the wind, and I'll make it to Nukuiva. So that's the plan right now. We'll see how it works out. I may have to take it back, but if I take it back, I mean, I still have a lot of options. I still have lots of food, lots of water. All of that is not a concern here. Fuel is not a concern. The rig, nothing's gonna happen with that rig. It's the standing rig is brand new from last year. The sails are in good condition, and I'm only gonna encounter better wind condition. There might be a few thunder showers, but the thunder showers I'm watching for. Like, I'm outside here, I'm watching around. If I see a thunder shower coming, or if I feel the wind come in, I'm just gonna furl in the sail and duck in and wait for that storm to go by and protect my sail that way, and then I'm still able to carry on. So that's the plan. I'll stick by it, and I'll let you know tomorrow how it turns out.